Levellers are one of the most iconic bands of the British folk rock scene. With 35 years of musical history, they've captivated audiences with their electric performances and thought-provoking lyrics. And now they're back with a brand new album called Together All The Way. In addition to the album, Levellers have already embarked on a UK headline acoustic tour where they'll be joined by special guests. And Mark Chadwick from the band is on the line with us here. How are you doing today?
I'm very good, thank you.
So, how does your new album, Together All The Way, differ from your previous work?
Well, it is. It's more of an atmosphere sort of record. It's very much about the lyrics, and the music behind it is, the levels are 1, 2, 3, 4, go. Normally, electric guitars, acoustic guitars, and very direct and sort of like in your face. This is a much more cerebral experience. It's much more about focusing on the words and music itself, and just really honing it down a little bit more so people would actually appreciate a little bit more of what we're actually saying.
And you've got an acoustic with this album. Is that because you've finally realised that amps are too heavy to carry around?
Yeah, if only. No, we like lots of strings to our bow, basically, to get out there and just do different kinds of styles of doing this, because we've been doing it a long time now, and so to keep it interesting for ourselves, it's quite terrifying doing it this way, because you can't mess up. If you mess up, It echoes around the hall for an eternity, and it was painful. So you have to really focus. So it's a real buzz, it's an adrenaline hit.
Yeah.
So it's quite exciting for us, and for the audience as well. It's like, okay, this is different, and it's also, if they haven't heard the songs before, it's a bit of guesswork. It's like, okay, what song is this?
Yeah,
I recognise it, but I don't. Do I know it? I don't. And like that, a bit of fun.
So how did you go about selecting the songs to include from your back catalogue?
Well, it's quite an odd one. It's about the lyrical content and picking ones that work in that format, because some songs you go, oh, this would be great, but then you look at it and you realise it's only got 13 words in the whole song. And you realise that ain't going to work. Today, folk music is a lot of lyrics. So there's generally the songs with more lyrics and songs that lent themselves, or something that somebody had an idea about and go, this would work. I've got this crazy idea. Let's try this. And we go down that road and see if it actually comes to something exciting. And that's basically it. Everyone's involved. That's why it's called the collective, because it's not just us that are in the process. It's the guest musicians that we're working with. They're also coming up with ideas as well. So it really works that way. It's very interesting.
Yeah. And on this album, you've collaborated with many musicians like Hannah and Ollie from the Moulettes and Dan Donnelly.
Yeah.
Do you think they brought a new perspective to the songs, and maybe made them different?
Yeah, without doubt. No, without doubt. I mean, this is the second record of its type that we've done. We did one before about 5 years ago where we recorded at Abbey Road live, and the same approach, and pretty much the same people as well. And it's just like, it was so good to do it and to explore music in a very different way. And if you've been playing songs and writing songs and delivering them for years, it's really just great to do something completely a bit out there.
Yeah, certainly.
And they add that. They definitely add that. It's like, okay, particularly Hannah's mad. I'm quite safe in saying that. She's insane. But she's got a deeply musical brain. And it's like, if you follow it, it's worth following,
And Dan is actually in the band now, right? Dan Donnelly?
That's right, yeah, he is, yeah. He is a full-time member of the band, yeah.
So how does he fit in? Does he make a good cup of tea?
He makes an excellent cup of tea, and he's a good lad to have around. And we've known Dan since the 90s. His band that he was in back in the 90s called Watercress from Northern Ireland supported us, and we became friends with him as a band back then, and we've known him ever since. So he's been a friend. We've seen him every year ever since then. And when Simon decided he wasn't going to tour anymore, Dan was like, well, he was available and he just fitted in, and he played all the same instruments as Simon, and he's a writer as well. So it's like, okay, Dan, are you up for it? And he's like, yeah, I'll do it.
This album was, of course, recorded live, and you recorded it again until the musicians had a take that they were happy with. Did you, in the end, leave some mistakes in for authenticity, or was it, absolute perfectionist?
No, it's just a series of mistakes to keep me knitted together. That's what it is. That is what music is. That's what good music should be.
Yeah.
Anyway, these days it's not so much. A lot of music is comes out of computer perfect. This is not that. This is the human elements of music.
Yeah, because listening to it, it sounds weird to say this, but it sounds live, I guess it's very well produced, that it sounds like you're in the room feeling the ambience, and it doesn't feel like a record.
No, exactly. That's the vibe we're looking for, because it is live. It's us in our studio in Brighton. 1, 2, 3, 4, go. Last one to the end. Last one to the end loses. No. Basically, it's like, let's go, and just a lot of eye contact and a lot of like real, if you're not playing, don't play. That sort of thing.
And you mentioned it was recorded live at your studio in Brighton. You actually recorded an album at Abbey Road a few years ago, didn't you? Why didn't you go back there? Was this album just not good enough?
To be honest, we realised when we did it at Abbey Road the first time, it's because we did it with the producer at the time, and he had connections to that place, and he wanted to do it there. We didn't use him this time, so we just used our own studio, because we don't have to pay for it. It's free.
Yeah, that's the benefits of it. You guys have never been signed to a major label as such, have you? So do you kind of operate like an independent band?
We always have since the very beginning. We operated like an independent band. Even when we were signed to labels in the 90s, we were signed with those sort of contracts that gave us complete artistic and full artistic control, which, they were, which was unusual back then. So we always were a cottage industry. So when we gave up on all that side of the music business around 2000, it was quite natural for us to form our own record label, publishing, studio, festival, everything, do it all ourselves. Get rid of all the middle people that take all the money.
Yeah. So all the music you've created over the years is very much what you want to do. It's not necessarily what would be commercially successful and what the big bosses want.
Yeah, exactly that. And there was a pressure back then in the day. It was like, that's great, can you write another one? That's great, can you write another one like that one, but better? Shut up. And I'm pretty sure, you can talk to any artist and they'll agree with you that is a pressure that is, some people can rise to it, but a lot of people don't really want to, because that's not what music's about. Music is an expression of self, and that hopefully others identify with, not a factory where you copy things, But that's the difference between pop and what we do.
So what is the process that you guys have of coming up with a song?
Generally, they're written by an individual and then taken to everybody, and then destroyed and then rebuilt. Yeah, that's basically it. And everyone's got an opinion. Everybody's opinion is valid within the band and within anyone else who's working with us, including the engineers and everybody. Because otherwise, you can go down very singular routes, and people might not appreciate that so much. So it has to appeal, and it has to appeal to all of us, because we all have to live with it.
Yeah. Does that result in any kind of arguments? Because inevitably, if you involve everyone and let everyone have their say, not everyone's going to agree.
Strangely, that doesn't seem to happen. I think if something's pretty bad and we've been knocking on its door for ages and nothing's happening, then it's probably because it is bad. So maybe not. But if something starts off pretty ropily and turns into something amazing because somebody's had an idea, then that's great, and everyone goes with it. So there's very little in the way of like, I'm not doing that because I'm a better songwriter than you. That's bad, and that happens in bands. And when people they let their egos get involved, we tend not to let that happen. That's why we've been together for so long.
And you're all paid the same, aren't you? So there's no envy or resentment between you.
Yeah, exactly. Got rid of that from day one. We decided that was. And it's probably, one of those early decisions that led to the longevity of the band, because that decision was made right at the beginning, and we've carried it ever since.
Yeah. And you've been together for 35 years. So is that the secret, or is there another secret? Because I suppose you've still got to get on at the end of the day, no matter if you're getting paid the same.
You ignore any problems, eventually they'll go away. You know what I mean? They do. Time is an amazing healer. And if someone's getting on your nerves for a while, just let it go. And literally, things generally sort themselves out. If you jump into a situation and get all shouty about it, or over dramatic, or focus on it too much, then you can create something that wasn't there in the first place, probably. And if you just let things lie a little bit, things tend to work out well.
Yeah. And as well as it being the 30-year anniversary of the band, it's also the 20th anniversary of your Beautiful Days festival. So do you plan to celebrate these two milestones?
I don't know. We're just busy doing this at the moment. This is day one of this tour. But the festival, yes, we we'll be doing stuff at the festival because it is the 20th anniversary. We'll be doing some cool stuff for that, hopefully. But we've done nothing about it yet.
Yeah. Hopefully at the festival itself.
You got all the time in the world, and then suddenly you realise you haven't. So it's like one of them.
Here's to the next 35 years of the band, then.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. The first single from this current album is called Down by the River O, and there's a lot of history behind that song, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's written by a friend of ours called Rev Hammer, who's down in Exeter. And we used to play it with him years ago. In fact, we recorded it on his album in 1988. And we did a version of it with him and singing it. And we used to play acoustically around about in pubs and stuff for a laugh. We used to play that song. And when he found out we were doing this new record, he phoned me up and said, look, can you do River O? You do it so well, and it'd be better if you sang it. It'd be really good if you sang this song because you can do it. And I was like, all right, you sure? He's like, no, I really want you to do it. And we did it, and it was perfect. It was great. It just came alive. When
you were working on this album, did you worry about murdering all your previous songs, or were you quite confident? No,
really, that's a major concern. Thing is, the previous songs will always exist and will always be played like that. You know, when we play other gigs, we're not always. This is not. Hope you like our new direction. That's not the case. Yeah. Like this is just for now, right? It's just something interesting that we're doing for now, and it's a great thing. We really enjoy it, and it's a good experience for the listener as well as for ourselves, obviously. But those songs, they exist. But yeah, there are times some of them we've tried and we go, Jesus, that does not work. That is so bad. That is so bad. We turned it into lounge music. That's so bad. You can't do that. So yeah, that's first and foremost. Yeah, being aware that we're not actually destroying the songs. We're just reimagining them. I think that's what they use these days. Oh, they're doing the reimagining. I think that's what they call it. Yeah, which is nonsense. But but the song itself will always be there, and we'll always play it that way forever because that's just the way it is.
Is there a danger of upsetting fans by doing reimagining? Because maybe people are like, we want a new album and new songs.
Yeah, we just did that. We did a new album, new songs, like not that long ago, literally about a year and a half ago. And we released that, and that's great. It's all new songs on that. But unfortunately, that was released during the pandemic, so it kind of spat out into the void. Yeah. But at least we did it, and at least we released it at a time, and it got in the top 10. So that's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all good. We'll do another new record soon of new material, and there's some new material on this, and the old material sounds like new material anyway. It's really weird. So it's like it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, we'll be playing a festival later this year, at other festivals, and we'll be playing the songs as they know them. Yeah. So it's not a big deal. And people that come to this, they'll go, that was brilliant, and then they'll buy the record, and it's a different vibe. That's all it is.
In a funny way, do you prefer some of the songs on this new album to the originals, or is that like choosing a favourite child?
It's a bit like choosing a favourite child, to be honest. At the moment, I'm loving these versions because they're different. Yeah. Obviously, I would. But as soon as, if I was to play at an electric gig tomorrow, I'd be loving that version. So, yeah, it's like that, choosing a favourite child. Yeah, you can't. They are what they are.
After 35 years of the band, what is it that motivates you to still write new songs and I guess still have the energy to make music and tour?
Well, yeah, a lot. I mean, being on the stage is probably the key motivator, I think, for all of us. We love it. Being on the stage is something, there's nothing like it. There really isn't in life. So as a break from normality, there's nothing more extraordinary than being on the stage. It's just a fact. And so that singular moment and having new material to deliver and having things to say, making sure you've got things to say. If you've got something to say it. That is an artist's duty to the world. It's like, okay, if you can do something and people are sort of like are listening or paying attention, then it's your duty to do that.
And speaking of touring and being on the stage, you've just started a new acoustic tour. What can we expect from it?
Well, exactly what we've just been talking about. Yeah. That's what they can expect. Something wild and wonderful. And cerebral, really, something very cerebral.
Yeah. And do you think that performing the songs acoustically gives the audience perhaps a deeper appreciation for the lyrics and the music itself?
It'll give them a deeper appreciation of they need to go for a before they go in. So don't drink too much because you'll regret it. Yeah. So it's like that. I mean, it is. When I went to the theatre the other day, and I was thinking, oh my God, I'm asking people to sit there for like an hour and a half and listen to something. That's quite an ask. I mean, you have to deliver on that respect. You can't bore people for that amount of time. They'll drift. So that's quite scary.
What music do you play at the tour? Is it the classic songs and the kind of hits that we we would want to hear, and then a mixture of the more recent stuff as well?
No, it's pretty much it's this thing. It's the new album, and it is some of the stuff from the previous collective album, plus some bits, some favourites that people will know anyway, in a condition that they'll instantly recognise. Yeah, so it's not too challenging. We're not like reinventing the wheel in front of them. It's not jazz.
Yeah, and you're playing a mixture of beautiful old theatres and some quite unique venues on the tour.
Yeah, it's great.
Do you have a favourite type of venue to perform in?
I do like the old theatres. I really do like the old sort of like Victorian theatres. When we get them, they're places that have got history, places where people have been on those boards for years and years and years doing whatever. Those places have got something magical about them.
Are there any particular on this tour that you're looking forward to?
I can't say I've actually looked particularly closely. I think Liverpool Philharmonic, actually. That's a good one. That's a really beautiful spot. That's a great old theatre.
Yeah. Do you think that an old theatre works quite well for an acoustic tour? Because I guess back in the olden times, all music was acoustic.
That's right. Exactly that. So that those buildings are designed acoustically to work anyway. Yeah. You know, we're amplifying, obviously. That much side. But they're built for it. And so, there's an air of expectation. And for our fans that are used to seeing us in different, festival settings or in club settings or venue settings, this is quite a different thing for them. So I think they like it. It's like, okay, this is different.
Now, looking at some dates here, tonight it's at Liverpool Philharmonic, then on to Birmingham, Cambridge, Northampton, Reading, London, Poole, Truro, Barnstaple, Yeovil, Harrogate, Hull, Newcastle, and then on Buxton. That's where it finishes on the 18th of March. It's going to be quite busy. I guess it's only a few weeks, but just looking down, I can't see if there's a break, so it looks quite full on.
3 weeks solid, yeah. It's good.
Yeah. So are you going to have time to breathe?
No, hopefully not.
Yeah.
You're plenty of time to do that when we've finished.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, in the meantime, what's coming up for you after this tour and album? Are there plans for more stuff?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I've been talking to some of the guys. I'm thinking of doing another solo record, which I like doing, and there's plans afoot to do a new full band stuff. But we're just going to get this year done, get to a point, and then we reconvene and decide what we're going to do next. We're never in a hurry.
Yeah,
That's why we've been doing it for 35 years. You know what I mean? So, and there's no one breathing down our necks to make us do anything we don't want to do. So we do it at our own pace.
Yeah. Well, where are we able to get tickets for the tour if they're still available, and find the album when it's out? What's the exact date? Because I only know it's March.
It's 10th of March. 10th of March, the album's out. And just literally Google Level's touring, and this tour will come up.
Brilliant. Well, many thanks for talking to us today. It's been great to have you on.
Absolute pleasure. Nice to talk to you.